Hello, loved ones. This is Matt Stevens, and I hope you're doing super fantastic. And I've been thinking a lot about interconnectedness and also interpenetration. And I thought back to when I had read The Holographic Universe by Michael Talbot. I've mentioned this book before. For me, it was hard to read only because it's a lot of medical science. Like the first 25% of this book is mind blowing. The last 25% of this book is definitely mind blowing. And the middle half is also mind blowing, but yeah, a lot of medical science. And it's like, man, I'm a spiritual guy. I'm not really into science. It's interesting, and I understand why it's necessary to use that to explain things. Okay, I do. Like, for example, I talk a lot about Itzhak Bentov and his book Stalking the Wild Pendulum and his demonstration of how a hologram works and, you know, hello, holographic universe, right? But with how the hologram works, he took a like a pan of water, a bucket of water, whatever, and it's a demonstration. So you take a few pebbles and you drop the pebbles in the water. Okay, great. And they each make a splash. They make the water ripple, and then the ripples from this pebble and the ripples from that pebble they interact, and it makes just a big jumbled mess of waves and ripples. Well, that is what you would call an interference pattern. Now, he said, so if you were able to freeze that water, like flash freeze it in an instant, and then hold that water, hold that block of ice with the ripples up to a particular type of light, like a laser or whatever, it would then show a hologram of where the pebbles are. Right now, I'm very much oversimplifying this. Please, dear loved one, understand. It's very interesting. I'm not going to get into the whole all of it, but if you were to shine this particular light through this, it would make a hologram, meaning show you where those pebbles are. So that big jumbled mess of ripples is not really a jumbled mess at all. It's an interference pattern that could be used to demonstrate to you holographically where those pebbles are suspended in that water. It gets even more interesting because he says you could take that piece of ice and break it into thousands of pieces. Any one of those pieces could then be held up to the light and it would reflect and show you holographically where all three of those pebbles are. Now, the smaller and smaller the pieces get, the more degraded the hologram is. However, it still holographically demonstrates where those pebbles are. What that means is that you have the whole, but any tiny piece of that whole still reflects holographically the whole. So any little piece contains a reflection of the whole. The whole is in every little piece, and every little piece reflects the whole. And that's amazing. I mean, it is. And in the holographic universe by Michael Talbot, I'm going to read one little quick section here. So it was talking about how in ancient times people were thinking in holographic ways. Of course, they didn't have the same technology and terminology we have now. But this was a beautifully illustrated demonstration of holography and how everything is interconnected. Everything is interconnected and interpenetrating. Everything is connected to everything else, and everything penetrates everything else. So anyway, Fa Sang, a 7th century founder of the Huayan school of Buddhist thought, employed a remarkably similar analogy when trying to communicate the ultimate interconnectedness and interpenetration of all things. Fa Sang, who held that the whole cosmos was implicit in each of its parts, and who also believed that every point in the cosmos was its center, likened the universe to a multi-dimensional network of jewels, each one reflecting all others ad infinitum. When the Empress Wu announced that she did not understand what Fa Sang meant by this image and asked him for further clarification, Fa Sang suspended a candle in the middle of a room full of mirrors. This, he told the Empress Wu, represents the relationship of the One, capital O, One, meaning universal consciousness or God. I lost my place. Oh, there it is. This, he said, showed the relationship of the many. Geez, I did lose my place for real. I'm sorry, dear loved one. Hey, while I'm finding my place, would you go ahead and hit the like button? That'd be fantastic. I'd really appreciate that. And also, subscribe if you have not yet done so. That'd be great. Thank you. So, here we go. This, he told the Empress Wu, represented the relationship of the one to the many. Then he took a polished crystal and placed it in the center of the room so that it reflected everything around it. This, he said, showed the relationship of the many to the one. That is a beautiful way to demonstrate this. He said that first he put a candle in the middle of the room, surrounded by mirrors, and each of the mirrors reflected the candle. The universal consciousness being the candle, and each mirror being us. But we are reflecting the whole of each mirror is reflecting the whole of the candle. That's rather amazing. Then he went on to, he did the highly polished crystal in the middle of the room, and he situated it in a way that it reflected everything in the room. So everything in the room was also reflected back into the crystal. So the crystal had a reflection of everything around it. Everything was interconnected through one point, which is the universal consciousness, or God, if you would rather call it that. That's fine with me. We can go with that. And I think that is absolutely beautiful. Do I necessarily believe in a holographic universe? Yes, but I mean, it's like the holographic nature of everything. It's like whenever I say that there is really no vast expanses, right? I mean, when we look out at the cosmos, we go out and look at the night sky and you see the cosmos, and yes, it goes on and on and on, literally forever. When we look at it that way, it's like it's just enormous. It's so huge. But the holographic nature of it means that you are reflected in it, and it is reflected in you. You are the entirety of the entire universe. So when we look at it and we think of how vast it is, how big it is, and really the powers that be, the archons and the ruling class elites, whatever you want to call them, they would have us continue to believe that, well, we are just barely even a blip on a radar. You're tiny, you're small, you're insignificant, and really don't matter. That's what they would have us believe. So that we just continue to be good little humans and continue to produce, consume, obey, produce goods and services, consume goods and services, obey the rules, and, well, eventually your life will come to an end. Maybe you'll have a little fun on the weekends, and that's about it. You'll just fade off into the abyss. That's how they keep us to be good humans. And don't seek answers. Don't look to the cosmos and realize I am a reflection of the entirety of that. And it is a reflection of me. The holographic nature of the entirety of it all. And I've just been thinking a lot about the interconnectedness of that, how we are all interconnected. And I've heard lots of analogies and things like that, but really, that one with the Fa Sang, that one works. It works very well. So, yeah. And what kind of got me to thinking about this is I had listened to, and controversial as he may be, I'm not going to apologize. He's got some great points. A guy named Flat Earth Dave. Yes, he's a big flat earther. I'm not. That doesn't mean I can't learn from him. He's got some very good points. And one of his points is that, well, I'm not necessarily going to say we're at the center of the universe, but he believes we are at the center of creation. And that we are taught that we're really just on some small, insignificant little planet in the outskirts, out in the boondocks of just a average galaxy among trillions of galaxies. So you really, your little 80 to 100 year lifetime is just, it's not much. So just be a good human. As I said, work, produce, consume, obey. Maybe have a little fun on the weekends. And, well, one of these days you'll be gone and fade off into the abyss. And that makes people feel very small and insignificant and just say, screw it. Why bother? Who cares? But you are divine spark of the Creator. Universal consciousness lives inside you. And again, another quote that I have brought up many times is the quote from Rumi that says, you are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. And if we look at the holographic nature of things like that, and from that perspective, if you have a drop of water from the ocean and say, well, this is just a little drop. This is just one drop. That's all. Just ping, throw it in the ocean. There's many drops in that ocean. And any one of them is not that significant. But when you look at it holographically, you realize each one of those drops reflects the entire ocean. Each one of those drops is a holographic image of the entire ocean. And that's beautiful. So, there's that. But anyway, dear loved ones, I just wanted to share that with you. If you haven't read The Holographic Universe, I will recommend it. Although I will say, if you're like me and you're a spiritual guy and the science stuff is like, hard to get through, it's worth it. It is. But just be prepared. It's gonna, it's got some parts in it that are just kind of drag on. However, it is very interesting. And this book can definitely change the way you look at things. So anyway, dear loved ones, that's what I got for you. If you would, please go ahead and hit the like button if you have not yet done so. And subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet done that. And share this video with someone if you think that they would love to hear it. Also, let me know in the comments. Yes, I'm going to solicit comments. That's okay. That's fine. I'm going to solicit comments and ask for, what do you think of Holographic Universe? What do you think of everything is just right here, but yet it's reflecting all of that? It's like all of that or here, it's the same thing. It is. It's the same thing. This or that is the same thing. This is reflecting that, and that is reflecting this. It's all interconnected. So, that whole vastness of space. Listen, I've been into astronomy since I was a kid. I can walk outside right now and start pointing out stars to you and telling you their names. I understand that. But I also, since I've become a seeker, understand that is not as big. When we talk about from the spiritual sense, it's not that big. In fact, we can expand all the way out into it. And I believe we do, whether we know it or not. But anyway, dear loved ones, yes, that's what I've got for you. I mean it this time. And hit the like button. I'd appreciate it. And I do love you. I do. And I'll be back directly.